Hello, everyone. How are you doing? Welcome to Facts and Two Cents. As you know, we are a channel that supports the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, Harry, Meghan, Archie, Baby Lily, Mama Doria, Poola Guy, the chickens. And we hang out with all our squaddies here every couple of days. I've been trying to do every couple of days now. I hope you are all well. Hope you are doing great. Happy Tuesday to all of you. And before we go on, I mean, if you're new here, definitely go ahead and subscribe. Actually, gonna put my little banner. I thought I had my banner there for some reason, but I guess not. Here we go. Subscribe to our channel. Please like and share this video, and please join the 2 Cents crew. That would be awesome. Thank you all so much for all of you who are here and have joined the channel. Yes, thank you. But lots are going on, not necessarily with our faves here on the screen. That's not correct. Meghan has been pretty quiet. I mean, yes, I know, I saw she was out and about, but again, private time is not news, so I don't cover people's private time, private goings on in their community. That is not news for me, so I leave that alone. But lots of other stuff has been going on, as you know. Shutter Island is being Shutter Island, as you know, that'll never change. It'll always be Shutter Island. But before we even get there, hello to all of my friends in the chat. Hello to 121 of you so far, and hope others join us. Some may or may not be in the chat, so if you're not in the chat, welcome anyway. I'm so happy you're here. Hello, Lydia. Awesome moderator is here. Hello, Lydia. And I see our awesome moderator, Church Nelly, is here, and she is 15 months as a member of 2 Cents Crew. Thank you, Church Nelly. You are awesome. So happy. Thank you for your support for the last 15 months, and actually longer, obviously. But I am so happy you are here. And you support the channel. Much appreciated. Much appreciate all of your support. Nala Dandu is also here. She is here from South Africa. Hello, my friend. How are you? And Fancy is here. Hello, Fancy. And Rafaela is here. Hello, my dear. How are you? And who else is here in the chat with us? Olive is here. Hello, Olive. And Connie Balmer is here from Switzerland. Hello. How's it going in Switzerland? Is it very cold there and snowing already, Connie? Do tell. Connie is living my dream life. I've always wanted to go to Switzerland, never made it there. So you are living my dream life, my dear. Miss Lottie is here. Hello, Lottie. Hello. How are you doing? And who else is here? Robert. Hello, Robert. Joining us from Rome at 1930. Hello, Robert. I'm so happy you're here. You know what I love? A little bit of, cranberry Martinelli spritzer would be great. Enjoy that for me. Black Queen is on the road. Take care, Black Queen. Please drive safely. Yes, and you can definitely join us when you have gotten to your destination. So, hello, Black Queen. Don't know if you're there yet, but if you're there, hey, welcome. If you're not, we'll see you later. Lola Love is here. Hello, guys. And Annie is here, and all of our other friends we will check in with as we go along. But what is going on in the world of our faves and beyond and across the pond? Of course, lots and lots of stuff. So let's see. Prince Harry is going on right now. People is they have done, they always do their lists. What is it? The 25 most, what is it? The most beautiful or something like that they do every year. I forgot what they call it. Oh, it's Sexiest Man Alive. Actually, that's what they call it. Sexiest Man Alive thing that they do every year. And I don't know that I've ever seen the 25 most intriguing people before. Maybe because, I don't tend to pay attention to people unless they, there's an article about the Sussexes and somebody posts about it. Actually, I have them blocked on, on Twitter. So unless someone post like a screenshot of it, I don't usually see their work. So whenever there's a screenshot, I was like, oh, let me go check it out. But because they've written enough shady stuff about our faves that I was like, no, you're blocked. But occasionally, like in this time. But yeah, again, I don't know, maybe they haven't. I just hadn't paid attention to it. Again, I don't really follow American tabloids, so I don't know. But maybe they did. But Prince Harry is on their list of most intriguing people for the year. And so I was like, okay, well, that's interesting. We have, I think I have Coco on there as well, and we'll check in with Coco a little later. But yeah, so Prince Harry, and it's so funny because again, another list, and that one across there, the pond, isn't on this list. You would think, as a global salesperson, I'm not sales wrong, global salesperson. He can't even be that, but a global statesman. You would think he would be on the list of intriguing people, but no, alas, is our awesome Prince Harry, on the list of most intriguing people. And I think they also probably have, I think Times also has the person of the year, which I think is Taylor Swift, which I'm like, Taylor's great and all that, but I'm like, y'all have a, genocide going on. There are a lot of people over there that would have been the better choice, but that's just me. But anyway, so this is what they said about Prince Harry in his little blurb write-up for the intriguing, and I don't think they're putting it as 1 to 25. I think he's just 25, the picture or story 25. I think that's what it is. I could be wrong. I didn't read the whole article, but I only was interested in the Prince Harry part. It says the prince opened up like never before with his best-selling memoir Spare, revealing what he called the good, the bad, and everything in between of life behind palace walls. Almost 4 years after breaking from the crown and heading to California with Duchess Meghan, a move that has irreparably fractured the relationship with his brother Harry is looking to the future, as he told People in January. I feel I am exactly where I am meant to be, and exactly where my family are meant to be. And here, Harry, we just wish you all the best, and that continues to be the truth, and that you continue to thrive and be as intriguing as you want to be for the world. Again, Harry is amazing. There's so many things about Harry that is just like, yeah, definitely intriguing, definitely a warrior. I always call it, yeah, isn't that what I think Prince Cecil, I forgot what his name, what the name Prince Cecil gave to him, but doesn't it mean warrior or something like that? Like our warrior prince. There's so many things about Harry that, apart from Spare, I mean, look at his whole bio that if you look at his whole bio and all the things that he's accomplished, my goodness. So wait, Nacho is on the list? Oh, hi, Blackweed. Wait. Oh, wait. I think I hit on the wrong one. Sorry, Marvin Cato. Sorry. I hit on the wrong one. Sorry, Marvin. I was trying to get to Church Nelly says Nacho on my list of most intriguing of all time. Oh, now I get it. Now I get it. Church Nelly. I thought you said that you were saying that Nacho was on the list, and then I as I said, I did not read through all of the people because I was just looking for Harry. So if I did miss Nacho, I I could have. But now I get it. He's on your list. There you go. Let's see. Donna Black says People is Prince Harry's go-to magazine in the US, but I don't believe Meghan has a personal relationship with the magazine. It's his go-to. I know he did for Spare. He did an interview with them. Has he done something with People that I don't know about? I know he did that with quite a few news outlets in the US. I don't know that he's done it with People again. Could be, and I just didn't pay attention. But yeah. No. I don't think I've ever seen Meghan do any interview or anything like that with People. She's more like a New York Magazine kind of person, or the New York Times. So yeah. But yeah, very interesting. But anyway, so there you go. Most intriguing person, most intriguing royal. And again, people is so all up into the royals with so many. I mean, look how many covers they've done with the royals. It's very interesting that only Harry is on the list. You know what I mean? They have done some very one of the reasons I've blocked them is they've done some shady and kind of been shady about Meghan. And so that's one of the reasons I blocked them. But you would think the others across the pond who they're constantly putting on their on their covers, you would think one of them would be on the list, but nah, it's Harry. So there you go. I don't know who was doing the voting. I didn't even know there was an intriguing person until I saw the screenshot. So there you go. What else is going on with Harry as being his intriguing self? Is his court case that's a couple of days ago. It started not a couple of days ago. It started yesterday. I think it was yesterday. Today's Tuesday, yeah? Yeah, it started yesterday. And I think it's going to go until Thursday. And this is not a lawsuit. So I was saying there was a lawsuit the other day, but it's not a lawsuit. This is the review. It's a court review of Ravek's methods of basically how did they come to the decision to pull him from his security, and is that lawful? Did they follow the procedures that they're supposed to follow to make an assessment? Did they do the risk assessment that's needed to come up with the decision that they came up with to strip him of his security? Of course, they are like, yeah. We, it depends on his status. He's no longer a member of the royal, not a member of the royal family. He's not a working, quote unquote, working. Not that you want to apply working to the royals, but there you go. He's not working with the institution anymore. So therefore his status has changed. Therefore his security changed. Which makes, any person with common sense will tell you that is ridiculous. I mean, you could say the same thing for, say, the president of the United States or even the prime minister in the UK. Okay, they have stepped down from their job, right? They're no longer, for example, Boris Johnson is no longer the prime minister of the UK. Will you take away his security because he no longer is the prime minister of the UK? Why? No. Just because his job title has changed, his status as a person and what he was a part of before means there's a security risk. You would not take away his security. The same thing with the president of the United States. You will not take away his security. Every president of the United States have their full security detail. They have their Secret Service agents with them and all of that stuff. Yeah, just because you change job doesn't change your threat level against them because of the job that they had. Similar to Harry. Not that, he is even, you could even say his is even more dire in the sense of he can't ever get away from that because this is what he was born into. His family is going to be, if it was up to me, they'd be abolished, but that's not going to happen. As long as his family is there as the king and the queen and whatever, he will always have this risk. So whether he works for the family firm or not, the risk is still there. So you don't take away someone. People always say, well, he shouldn't expect security. It's like you leave a job and you can't expect security from the job. And it's like, that is so not this situation. Harry can never stop being prince. He's, you forever be the king as long as King Charles or whomever is there. He's always related to them. He's right now the son of the king. And so the threat level doesn't change no matter what his job is. So this kind of ridiculous. I mean, even Priti Patel was saying they need to square off this because it's ridiculous that you can't allow him to pay for stuff, which is totally ridiculous. And a lot of the press didn't carry it because it doesn't fit with their narrative. It's totally ridiculous. So that's what this whole court case is about, and challenging the review. The judicial review is to really look into and look at the evidence and see if Ravek followed the law and if they did what they need to do in order to come up with the judgment that they came up with to strip him of his security. And so a little bit about this from Reuters. It says the case, which is it's talking about Harry's lawyers and what they the government is saying. It says the case is about the right to security and safety of a person, which she said, which is Harry's lawyer says, there cannot be a right of greater importance to any of us. She said the Executive Committee for the Protection of Royalty and Public Figures, known as RAVEC, had deviated from its own written policy for the first time and had not provided a reason why it singled Harry out in this way. It had also failed to tell him why they had made its decision. And the article goes on to say, Harry's consistent position has been and remains that he should have been given security in light of the risk he faces, she said in a written submission, adding, he had unjustifiably been treated less favorable than others. The government's lawyers, James Eadie, said the change in protection resulted from Harry's change in status to a non-working royal. RAVEC had not decided Harry should not receive protection, but that he should not have it on the same basis. Harry would be treated in a bespoke manner and occasionally be included within the cohorts of individuals receiving public funded protection, Edel said. In other words, we're going to tailor-made a security, detail for you, depending on what you're doing in the country and how long you're going to be here. Well, this next article it's around the same topic, obviously. This is from the Telegraph. They have a little more information on that. I'm just going to move my little banner from the bottom there so that way it's not in the way. Okay, so let's read from the Telegraph. They have a little more information on it. It says the document alleged that Harry had been treated unfairly, which we just looked at, as is clear when comparing with his treatment of other redacted, they took out the name. They go on to state that this person have never done whatever they've done, but they have protective security. Could be Andrew. Miss Fatima, who is Harry's lawyer, claims that RAVEC had chosen not to follow its own written policy. Instead, she argued that a far inferior position had been imposed, lacking critical safeguards that the Duke had been given no explanation for such treatment. No good reason has been provided for singling the claimant out in this way, she told Justice Lane. The Duke said that each time, which is important, the Duke says that each time he had visited the UK since June 2021, he formally requested protective security in advance, giving the required 28-day notice. However, the response on every occasion, which is largely redacted in the court documents, is deemed wholly inadequate. The decision to deny him protection during flying visit for his father's coronation in May is branded irrational, although the specific details of it has been redacted. And again, it's like they're saying, well, we don't know how long you're coming. We don't know why you're coming. And Harry is putting out there like, we have given you advance. You wanted 28-day notice. And since June 2021, I have given you 28-day notice. And each time you've basically said no. And whatever you may or may not have provided has been inadequate. And again, the whole thing of inferior level of security or none. It's like, okay, well, other members of the family are getting security, so you're going to fall within that, within their security. And it is, again, we know the reason why this is. No matter what RAVEC and the government say, we know that they worship at the feet of royalty. We know the reason why, again, as Harry's attorney says, they literally have gone against their own guidelines as to risk assessment. And they've done, this is the first time ever that they have ever gone against their own guidelines as to what they would do to, to decide who gets security, how much security, against their own risk assessment, their own written policies. They literally went against their own policies to strip Harry of his security. For the first time ever, that Ravik is in existence. And they want to know why. And I'm so glad that Harry is putting this out there, because these are the same people that's going to tell you, oh my gosh, if Princess Diana had security, she would have been alive today. And yet Harry is exposing that these people, I am giving you the time. I'm giving you, you wanted 28 days notice of when I'm going to be here and what I'm going to be doing. Here, I'm giving you 28 days notice. And every single time since 2021, you have basically said no, are giving me inadequate service, security, including when I came for the coronation. And we know the reason why. We know the reason why. And we looked at this whole thing, and I'm not going to read the whole thing, but we know where this whole started. This all started way back when Prince William was accused of cheating on Kate with Rose Hanbury. This whole thing started with Christian Jones, and Christian Jones desperately trying to find some way and someone to throw under the bus to cover up for William's alleged affair. And even approach Omid to try to get Omid to feed Harry and Meghan information from his book, Finding Freedom, to Dan Wooten to stop them from digging in to find out whether it's true, Prince William, whether he was cheating on Kate or not. And because Omid wouldn't do it, they figured out, oh, well, let me leak information to Dan Wooten to cover up for Prince William. And then somebody at the Sun found out about it, alerted Harry's people, and Harry, a letter before action, including Christian Jones' name. And because Harry wouldn't take it out, Lord Peel and the other, as Harry called them, the bee, the fly, and the wasp people, those men in gray, decided, okay, we need to protect William, and we need to protect William's aide that has been throwing Harry and Meghan under the bus for William. We need to protect them more than we need to protect Harry. And because Harry would not take Christian Jones's name out of that letter before action, Lord Peel decided to go send Harry this brutal letter telling him, you better stand down in 24 hours. They had Christian Jones' lawyers going after Harry, all with the approval of the palace. And as Lord Peel said, if you don't take his name out within 24 hours, there's going to be serious repercussion. Harry didn't. They took away his funding and his security. We know where all this comes from. Ravik has no credibility because we know that they are doing this is not about whether Harry is working there with the royal family or not. Because according to the lawyer, and I actually should have brought in that article too, where she talked about the fact that they pulled Harry's security before he stopped being a member, being a working member of the family. His security was actually pulled in February. Their last engagement for the royal family was in March. They pulled the security while he was still a working member of the royal family. And so I'm so happy this is all being excused because, again, these were the same people, a lot of them in their press. Oh, Diana would have been alive with security. If you're doing this now and in front of us with the internet, we can see this in real time. I guarantee all of those people who were claiming that, oh, Diana rejected the security are lying. That if you're going to go through all of this rigmarole to deny someone, even when they're saying, I'm going to pay for it, then imagine they didn't have internet back then. They could hide anything. They could say someone did anything. Oh, Diana didn't want it. She said no. We begged her to have security. Oh, we said, and she just didn't want it. Right, sure. And even if she did, maybe you did whatever you need to whatever you did to make her feel so afraid of you that she wouldn't want you around. One of those could be true. But whatever it is, these people who was around Diana, a lot of them bear the brunt of the guilt for why this woman is not alive today. Because if you can go by what they're doing to Prince Harry now, it's just like, are you serious? You really want us to believe after watching all of this that y'all had nothing to do with the death of Princess Diana? You really want us to believe that? So anyway, so we'll see. I mean, again, the case is going until Thursday, and they take forever to give results for these things, or the judge. I mean, I guess there's a whole lot of paperwork. A lot of it, the opening argument for this case is, they did it for the public, public could view it, but the rest of it is completely private. So because I guess there's a whole lot of private security information in there, so the rest of it is private. We're not going to know until the judge decides whatever he's going to decide. We're not going to know what is, obviously what the testimony or what they say in court. So prayerfully for Harry. I mean, the thing about this, again, this is not a, something where money is involved or suing. It's just not, he didn't file a lawsuit. This is a judicial review. Is reviewing and, to see if legally, if Ravek basically followed the law in deciding his security. And so the government, mostly their position is, we don't care what you say, we're not going to change it. That's pretty much their position. So it just, I don't know what's going to happen, even if it were to come out that, yes, they didn't follow what they're supposed to do. I don't know what the rectification would be. I don't know if the judge could order them to give him back his, I don't know. So we'll see when that comes out. Leslie, are you here? I don't even know if I saw Leslie, if she's here. To maybe if I said anything wrong, Leslie could correct it, because I'm not a legal mind. So Leslie is. So I don't see Leslie in the chat. So Leslie, if you're here, shout out so you could come on and enlighten us, just in case. I'm sure I messed a lot of that up. So there you go. Anyway, I did my best. I did my best with this legal stuff. Anyways, again, this is where it goes back to. It goes back to William. It goes back to, again, covering up for Prince William's alleged affair with Rose Hansby. Again, none of this had to happen. None of this had to happen if William was a man and stood up and was like, you know what? If I did what I did, I'm sorry, I apologize, and fix his mess. Or stand up and say, no, this is false and whatever. But instead of dealing with it, again, how the royal family, instead of dealing with this stuff, they rather throw their family member under the bus. And when their family members stand up and say, no, I'm not going to allow you to do that, what do? They do what they did to Harry and Meghan. Bully them and bully them out of the country. None of this stuff had to happen. None of this had to be the case right now. If William and Charles were men who had any guts or courage or any kind of leadership, anything, to stand up and face their mess. And I don't understand why, anyway, moving on. Moving on from this craziness. Yes, of course. We saw this, what was it, 2 years ago with William, when, actually, I think it was right after the Oprah interview, and, William like, we're not a racist family. And of course, he found a black friend to, let the world know he's not racist. And so this was one of those tweets that I think he got thousands and thousands of likes on this tweet. Emergency black friend has been activated. And so that is William letting us know that, no, they're not racist. And of course, that guy, he's from, what is that homeless shelter that William always goes, and he is a patron of. And so he comes out, my friend Prince William is no racist. Right, sure. It's so funny. I always laugh when people say, no, they're my friend. And I'm like, would they say you were their friend? I mean, have you ever been to his house, hung out with him, hung out with his kids, hang out? I mean, that's what friends do, right? Have you ever? Of course not. But no, he wants us to know that, oh no, I am William's black friend. Of course, it's not racist. So, what do you know? Of course, like death and taxes. Thank you, Centerpoint. That's the name of the charity. It's the name of the charity that William is a patron of. And thank you. That's why I love this community. When I don't remember who these things are, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for enlightening us. I appreciate it. So of course, he did that. And of course, Kate Middleton has been in a lot of hot water lately as being named as one of the, royal racists. And it's so funny because so many people, and look, if this is the case, none of us are going to be shocked, right? Many people are like, I think that is covering for William. A lot of people don't believe she was the one that was it. They believe that in some way she is covering for William. Would that be shocking? No, it's not. I mean, William and Charles are always forever looking for people to throw under the bus. Now, I think he's probably run out of people to throw under the bus since he hasn't found anyone to throw under the bus since his name has been raised. But we'll see. It's still early yet. But look at Kate. Kate is like, well, if William could have a black friend, I could have many black friends. Many black and brown friends. Why not? And of course, look, we all knew this was going to happen, right? We've been laughing about since the day that that whole thing happened. The whole thing came out with Omid's book, and whether it's mistranslation or first drafts being sent by mistake or whatever. And then Piers Morgan blabbed about the names and all of that. We knew this was coming. We knew, and I think she went to some engagement recently. And of course, the person giving her flowers was a black child. And she's had a black person there, I think, at this engagement in front of the press welcoming her. We knew this was going to happen. So no, none of us are shocked that again, it's literally like death and taxes. It is inevitable. It'll happen. It's what they do. And it's just, it's so funny watching them do it. It is just like, oh my goodness. So yes, my friends, Kate has many black friends, just in case we don't know. They're there just for those times when she is called racist. And so, and I don't understand. And we are all so different, and everybody's in different situations, and we value different things. But I guess I'm always like, if I was in that situation, and maybe people don't pay. Look, a lot of Brits literally do not pay attention to the royal family. I have friends who are Brits, and I'm the one that tell them what is happening in the royal family because they don't know. They literally don't care. And they're from there. They don't care. So maybe these people are like, look, we got enough on our hands dealing with the NHS. We do not have time to be paying attention to the royals. So we don't know. They come, we smile for a camera, and that's it. That could be the case. But it's always amazing to me. I'm like, in case they know, do they really feel okay? And again, people value different things. And in the UK, a lot of black Brits, they value stuff like this. They feel important when Kate and William come and use them as props. And I guess a lot of them don't feel like they're props. Of course, we are looking at this like, oh my gosh, really? You really stand there and smile? Do you know these people? And again, a lot of them don't because they don't pay attention. It's just a royal coming for a day and they smile for a photo and that's it, But it's very, very, very interesting. Very interesting to me. But yes, folks, in case you didn't know, Kate Middleton has black friends. So don't you dare call her racist. She is not racist, so she got some black friends. So there. Lydia says, all those nurses probably had patients that needed them and they are wasting time with Kate. I'm telling you, it just, it really is. And I'm glad you said it. It's really a waste of time. But, I guess they're probably on their break. So, no harm done. Hopefully, no harm done. But yes, again, she got black friends, folks. So what else is happening in the world other than Kate Middleton's black friends? And Not to be outdone again with Kate Middleton and her Black friends, Prince William decides, oh, well, last year, remember last year, I think Barron and I were talking about this quite a bit, about Prince William out there pretending that he is an everyman, out there on the streets with a buddy selling paper with the homeless, really out there. Everybody should just, oh, you really, really, I'm just like any regular Joe out in the streets, hanging out with my buddy in a jean shirt and jeans. And, I am not a rich guy with 5 homes. Surely not. And we remember it came at a time when the press, they had fed the press this narrative of, oh, they're leaving Kensington Palace and they're moving into Adelaide Cottage, and Adelaide Cottage is such a downgrade from Kensington. Oh my gosh, it's so small. It's only 4 bedrooms. Even the servants they're not even going to have servants because the place is so small, and all of that narrative. And that was in the press. And oh my goodness, they are downgrading. Don't you see? They don't even have servants. They don't even have a nanny. They don't even. And of course, remember how the squad busted that whole narrative and just called them off for the lying scumbags that they are. And then shortly the press had to change their narrative because it was like nobody was buying, because everybody was posting all of William's 5 properties. And that was like I still to this day cannot believe that they even tried to pull that nonsense. And then even on the Adelaide Cottage, that property, there are 2 homes there. And it's like right across like the driveway, whatever. There's a second home on that property, which I'm sure that's where the nannies and stuff people can stay. And so they were all, and so that's when this whole thing, when William, because they was trying to sell that narrative of, oh, he's a regular guy, he's not, he is just, look at us, And so what happened today, or yesterday, I should say? William pulled the same stunt with the same man out there selling papers. This is what I guess people who are homeless or just getting off the streets, and they are selling the paper to to make a living, to feed themselves or to pay a little rent, whatever. And if you saw the Duchess of Success, she did a whole episode on this, that they don't really make any money whatsoever from these papers. They can't really make a living or anything from these papers. And so William pulled this nonsense last year, and then and then had his camera people come, and them pretending that, oh, it was just sort of something he just did, and people just happened upon him and all this nonsense. Then we exposed them because it was a whole promo setup thing when they had their own PR team there, and it was a whole big mess, and it kind of just blew up in their face. But you think they would learn? Oh no. Because we are not racist people, we need to feel like, so we're going to meet Black people. So now let's go hang out with the same guy who is in the same position that he was in a year ago, which means in the whole year you've hung out with this guy, his life has not changed at all. And here is William, who is supposedly the man who a few months ago claimed, as you can see from the Telegraph article, ending homelessness is my life's work. He put out this, he has $2 or $3 million, I think $3 million, and he's going to use that $3 million to end homelessness. Yet here's a man he met and used for PR purposes over a year ago. And this man is still in the same position he was in. And then they thought it was a cool thing that William to go and use this man once again for his PR. It is just so egregious to see. So that means his friend William has done nothing in the past year to help this man to improve. He has done nothing in this man's life. He used them back then for PR, and here he is again using them to do the same thing. It is. And again, we have to, and this is the same William who, with all his homes, he just, again, when the Queen died last year, he inherited the Duchy of Cornwall. Well, I think they're raking what 25 million or whatever it is per year at the duchy. That he is now, all of that is going to go into his pocket, including, as we looked at a few episodes back, dead people's money and dead people's property. You would think the homes that these people died in, you think they left home, they left property and all of that stuff because they claim they have no next of kin, which, if you know the royals, I would almost bet you that they didn't really look because they don't want to give up that property. They want that stuff for themselves. So he inherited that from, the King Charles became king. So King Charles inherited the Duchy of Lancaster, which the Queen had. And he now is in charge or inherited the Duchy of Cornwall. And as we looked at the article from The Guardian a few episodes back, where they were talking about King Charles pocketing the money of dead people, money and property, you would think with all of this, William could be like, okay, well, these people die and there's no kin, there's no next of kin, whatever. How many homeless people that are around that we can give this property to, that we can maybe add it to the house or add other homes in the property and give to the people? None of that has been done. Not one of it has been done. So this is a little bit about the article. It says, however, the article about King Charles pocketing dead people's stuff. However, under the custom that has, let me just make this a little bit bigger so I can read it. However, under the custom that has its roots in the medieval period, two hereditary estates or duchies belonging to the royal family can collect beneficentia. That's property from people who didn't claim it because they died or they claim there's no next of kin. From people who die in the two regions of England. They also collect leftover assets owned by companies at the point they are dissolved. One is the Duchy of Cornwall, which generates profits for whoever is the heir to the throne. Charles used to closely manage the duchy, but last year it is passed on to his son, Prince William. It collects beneficentia funds from deceased Cornish residents. So all of that funds and property, whatever it is that was on the duchy land that William is collecting, and as I guess since he started, inherited it last year, all of that stuff, you couldn't donate that stuff to homeless people, homes or whatever. You can't donate that or turn it over to people who actually need it. So this whole nonsense about, I'm ending homelessness and all of that stuff. And he talks about, he wants to put his hand to the ground and he wants to just get in there and do stuff. Well, again, this is one person William has used for publicity. That one person in a whole year that he's used this man is in the same position he was in when he met William over a year ago. It is just, and again, for people in the UK, I don't know why this man allowed William to use him again. Maybe this is the highlight of his life that a royal will come and use him. And I'm sure he probably doesn't think of it in that way. But why is he still on the streets? Why is he still having to sell, since William is now his new bestie? Why? And because they have no self-awareness and there's nobody in that palace that have the brain. God, I always say it's like these people don't have the common sense God gave a goat. Because if they did, they would just look at this situation and be like, okay, we can't do that because, again, how would that look that you met this person a year ago and they're still doing the same thing and you're going to use that same person again? Even for the sake of, this may not look good PR-wise. Even for that. But again, nobody there, they have no self-awareness. They have none. And so, it's just, here we are. Unbelievable. Anyways, moving on. We'll get into the chat in a little bit. I just want to get chat about this for a second. Talk about Harry, going back to court cases. As we know, Prince Harry's in court with a lot of different, he's basically suing all the tabloids in the UK for phone hacking, blagging, and the whole bit. And, it's so easy to think, oh, it's just Harry, because Harry gets, whenever he's in, obviously gets the attention, he gets the press attention and everybody else. But there's so many people in the UK that are suing Murdoch or the Ruthermere or all the others, Reach, who basically all these three owns a lot of the the outlets in the UK, that are suing them for the same thing and even more. It is unbelievable, some of the things that is happening. And Rupert Murdoch has now, according to some of the outlets, are saying that they have now paid, I think it was Byline Times, it says that Rupert Murdoch has now paid out over £1 billion to settle cases because of they hack people. And this man is a government official. I think he was actually a former government official. Just got they had to pay him and a whole bunch of other celebrities over £1 million to settle cases. And this was all yesterday. And it's amazing that, again, I don't understand. And this was part of the Byline Time article saying that that it's because the US, the UK, and the Australian government, it's like they don't understand why they will allow Rupert Murdoch to have the kind of power that he does have to do the things that he has been doing to people. I mean, it seems like their whole motto and their whole model of their news outlets or their company is to destroy people's lives. And so this man, and I had never heard of him before, and it's just everything he's saying is so familiar. Says News Score was out to get me. Chris Huhne condemns Murdoch empire after settlement of phone hacking and intrusion. The firm settled a claim alleging involvement in or at least knowledge of illegal activities by senior executives, Brian Cartwright reports. And again, these are not even the reporters. The reporters have been the ones that have been doing a lot of the phone hacking, and they've been, the ones targeting people, at least that's what we know of. But he's saying, no, not the reporters, the senior executives. The Rebecca Brookses of the world are the ones that were attacking him and going after him. Why? Because he called out their paper and he would, expose what they were doing. He goes on to say, in a statement outside court, Huhne accused named executives, including current News UK chief executive Rebecca Brooks, of targeting him with the aim of destroying a vocal critic of the media multinational owned by Rupert Murdoch. News Corp was out to get me, he said. My case is unprecedented because the unlawful information gathering was directed not by journalists, but by News Corp executives. The Metropolitan Police should reopen its investigation. He had wanted the case to go to trial, but late in the day, the Murdoch company offered a settlement sufficiently large that he could not refuse it without assuming unacceptable financial risk. Although the company had earlier drafted a defense challenging some of his allegations, Huhne said today, why would they pay up if they could prove I was wrong? His case is significant in several aspects because the questions it raised about the role of managers. It is the first of the three brought by senior Lib Dem politician. It is the first of the three brought by senior Lib Dem politicians. Sir Vince Cable, Sir Norman Lamb will follow, alleging hacking and illegal information gathering that was driven by political rather than journalistic motives. And he goes on to say, his claim against the paper was built largely on the information the company had been legally obliged to disclose. And It paints a picture of multifaceted surveillance and intrusion by Murdoch employees into a nightmarish scale. Among the allegations were, in two periods of a few days each in 2009 and 2010, private investigators were paid a total of £10,000 to follow him. Between 2006 and 11, 222 calls were made from Murdoch headquarters at Wapping to Hune's mobile phone, which bore hallmarks of voicemail interception. Some 20 private investigators and investigation companies were commissioned for tasks, including illegally accessing of Hume's medical records, credit standing, utility bill, bank details, telephone records, including lists of family and friends' numbers, messages allegedly accessed, including both highly private matters. Hume's marriage was breaking up and he was forming a new relationship, and highly sensitive political communications with political figures, not only in the Lib Dem, but with others, such as Labour Home Secretary Charles Clarke and Alan Johnson. Hume said today that the issues in the case are much wider than previous hacking cases. And, one of the things they're going to say that when you think of all the outlets that Rupert Murdoch owns, none of them today would be, reporting on all of this. And so when you think of why Harry is not, thank you, Helen says, Hume is a former Lib Dem Democrat and MP and a former journalist. I mean, when you look at all the list of things that they were accessing illegally from him, you think of all the things they did to Harry, you think what they did to Elton John and all the others. It is just that they could go in and get your bank records, your phone bill, your light bill, your medical record. I mean, all. And again, this is not by reporters. It's not even the reporters. It's the senior executives at News Corp was doing this stuff. Again, Rebecca Brooks. And I don't understand why this woman is still walking free on the streets. I don't understand why this woman is still allowed to head a news organization. And as I said before, if the US, the UK, and Australia's governments, whether it's Democrat, Republican, or whatever your two branches are, whatever the two parties are, if they were not benefiting from Rupert Murdoch doing this stuff, that he would not be there. They would have gotten rid of him a long time ago. No matter what side it is, they're all benefiting from what he is doing. And it's interesting that this man, look, he's a former MP, and he was also a journalist, and they're still doing that to him. Because how dare you, question, or look at we only have to look at what they're doing to Scobie right now, Omid Scobie. It's crazy what these people do. And so I am, again, it's when you look at the fact that he had to, he's now settled the case, and this is what he said, his statement when, I guess, outside the courtroom when they settled the case. He said, I can announce that I have reached a settlement in my case against Rupert Murdoch's newspaper for illegal information gathering. NGN will pay me substantial six-figure damages and all my legal costs. I would have liked to take the case all the way to trial in January, but the offer was more than my legal team thought I can achieve at trial, in which case I would be liable for all News Corp's legal costs. I would like to thank my legal team, David Sherborne, who is also Harry and those guys' lawyer, and Robert Bailey and Taylor Hampton, aided by Evan Harris. Thanks to Norman Sparks for helping organize today. Again, David Sherborne and his team have won so many millions, over $1 billion pounds for people who News Corp. And again, if you're not guilty, why are you paying all of this money? And like he was saying, if they didn't do what they, because they were trying to challenge it, it's like, well, if you didn't do and you can prove that you didn't do, why are you paying me then? And so many more people they're continuing to pay. And the thing with News Corp, they have yet to apologize, they have yet to say that, or at least acknowledge, other than they give you the money so you don't, continue against them. But it just, and this is why I'm so like, what Harry and Elton and the Baroness and the others, Sadie, what is it, Sadie Frost, I think her name is, that they're all pursuing this and taking this to trial. Because again, not many people can do it because it's so expensive. And the tabloids know that. And so they do this kind of thing. And they hope that, let's just throw a little money their way and they'll shut up. And we can just go along and abuse others. Because the majority of people don't take the time to be like, okay, if these people are doing this, then I'm going to stop reading. I am going to stop reading your news outlet. And again, this is the thing that's going to stop them. The only thing that's going to stop the tabloids from doing what they do is when people stop reading. When people stop reading. That's the power that we have. And I think a lot of people don't realize. Stop reading it. Stop clicking on it. Stop sharing it. Because if you stop reading, they don't get the advertising money that they want you, and they can't put their paper out there. The onus is on us. So, but again, that's why what Harry and what Harry and Elton and the others are doing is so heroic, because a lot of people they don't have the funds to be able to take that to court. So yeah, very interesting. I'm just gonna go into chat for a bit and see what you guys are saying. What you saying in the chat? Donna says, I have read Prince Harry's evidence in Byline, so he has a good case to win. Yeah, he does. I mean, in all of them. And for example, in the Mirror, I think he only has to prove one illegal news gathering to win it. So yeah, and the thing is, they all are doing it. They are all doing this stuff. And unbelievable. It's just like, hi. Let's see. Jenny Vick. Hello, Jenny. Have I seen you here before? I don't think so. So welcome. Jenny says, I agree. I have never seen photos of Kate with friends. Whenever we see Meghan out and about, in most cases, and I don't know what I'm assuming you're saying that she was out. She usually is out with friends. You're right. I don't think I've ever seen, look, I'm not saying she doesn't have friends, but I don't think I also have ever seen Kate out with friends. I mean, maybe before she married William, but I would assume, hopefully she has friends. Everybody needs friends, so hopefully she has some. But yeah, I've never seen. Maybe she could just be keeping them very private. That's fair too. Not everybody wants to have their photo taken and then the press go after them. So she can be, she maybe just meet them in private or something. But you're right. I have never seen her with her friends. Let's see. Maybe there's a picture out there that I've just never seen. Let's see. Donna says Murdoch is the real king in Britain. He is the puppet master. Oh yeah, he is. I mean, the government, the king, they all basically worship as a stable. You just have to look when he had that summer party and everybody showed up. Prime Minister, Labor Minister, Opposition Party. Prince Charles wasn't there, but he sent his 2 top aides with him. MI5 and 6 with. I mean, everybody was at that party. And so yeah, Rupert Murdoch pretty much owns that place. It's just I am so grateful that I was raised with a grandmother who taught me to never bow to such things. I would never. I just like, thank you. We didn't always agree on stuff, but I'm so grateful that, it's like you bow to God and God only. So there you go. Let's see. Donna Black says it's a shame that so many in Britain are living in poverty, but they still praise the monarchy. They are brainwashed. And it's so easy, especially with the media. That's why the media is so powerful. That's why Rupert Murdoch is so powerful, because they have mastered the art in brainwashing people. They have, I mean, if they and the U.S. government, it is just they have mastered it. And I guess because we had this, I guess the US especially had this thing where in just about every household there's a television, and every household is one of those things, and you grew up your entire life watching, you watch the NBCs, you watch the CBS, and you didn't have an outlet to be like, okay, I need a different different view. You had a few, but not very prominent. And so the majority of the people are going to believe what's right in front of them. And, you just you just believe what's there. And it's unfortunate. So, yeah. Anne-Marie says, I see a few African and Caribbean women in that picture. And she happened to be in, she even happened to get a middle. Some of us are like that, unfortunately. We are like that, unfortunately. It's like, again, it's just a picture, but it's, I couldn't do it. I always think back to that lady who was like running and falling down at Prince Charles's feet. I would never, that's what all of this gives me. That kind of cringe is what what all of this gives me. Unbelievable. Let's see what else. Eileen says, just imagine if William gave that man his watch, how he could possibly turn his life around. And again, yeah, exactly, right? Exactly. Just that watch, how much he can get for that watch. But somebody even mentioned on Twitter that the self-awareness, like the watch, that how expensive that watch is, the fact that William even thought to wear that watch there, in that situation. And so it's like, oh no, I'm the every guy out here selling papers, and as Duchess of Success had and that's another question. If Duchess of Success could have done such a research on that paper and seeing that these people really don't make anything out of that paper, they don't make much at all, I would assume Kensington Palace has never done a research on this. And if they did and found what Anne got out of it, why are they still, supporting or have they done something to make sure that the people who work with it get more money out of it? I would gather with the history of Kensington Palace, I would gather no. I would gather they haven't done any of it. So, yeah. Joy says, William should focus on one thing. Work with the homeless and get some results from that instead of move on to Earthshot. Like you said, Belle, the man is in the same spot he was in a year ago. I know, right? Well, again, with William is when you don't want to do anything, you jump and jump and jump, and it's always reinvent myself, and I'm gonna end homelessness, or I'm gonna end Mideast conflict, or bring peace to the Mideast, or I'm gonna do the environment, and it's and he has yet to do anything in any of these areas. Unbelievable. And I think that's what's so sad. Look, and my thing with all of this is I don't care who does it, whether it's the Sussexes does it or the Cambridges. There are people suffering. There are people homeless that could use William and Kate to do something and use their position to help them. I don't particularly care who does it. These people need help, and that for me is the most important thing. And so William has all of the resources to do this kind of thing, and it bugs me that they don't. That they do this shallow stuff, and then people are still there suffering. That's the thing. I'm not here like wishing he fails or any of those things, because look, if he wins, if he is able to be successful in whatever plans they come up with, if he's able to be successful in helping, ending homeless, that's, it's a little ridiculous, but helping a lot of people with the resources you have. I am going to celebrate. Why? Because people are getting help. I don't care who does it. I care that people are not going to be living on the streets. I care that people are not going to be out in the streets cold. Winter is coming. You know? And so whoever does it, I'm going to be happy. My thing is, do something. You have the resources, you have the time, you have the money, you have all of the things. And instead of doing something, you're out here cosplaying and using a homeless person that you've met a year ago and have done nothing to help his situation. That's where I have an issue. So, yeah. And it's the same thing with Kate and her baby stuff. I'm not rooting for her to fail. If she wins, if she's able to be successful at helping them, then yes, these are babies and kids that are going to get help. So again, I don't care who is the person that helps the kids. The focus is the kids getting help. But again, what they're doing is cosplay. They're doing all these research and study, and the kids are like, hello, I'm over here. I need help. I need money. Money is what I need. I'm in poverty. That's the area to focus on. As opposed to all of these meetings and studies and all of this nonsense. There's nothing you could tell anybody in early years that is not already out there. We know the research. We have the awareness. We know what's happening. What is needed is money. That's what's needed. We have the people that's ready to work. They can't work because they don't have money. And that's the area that they're not focusing on. Because they won't advocate for it. Why? Because it's always like, oh, well, it's political. Which I say, nonsense. Absolutely nonsense. Oh, well, she can't lobby the government because they have to stay out of politics. Nonsense. When the royal family wants something for themselves, they lobby parliament all the time. When they want exemptions from things, they don't care that it's political. When they wanted exemptions from the following race laws, guess what they did? They lobbied and got it. When the Queen wanted exemptions from paying from their properties, paying Scottish environmental taxes and all of that stuff and following Scottish environmental laws, what did she do? She lobbied and got it. When they wanted to hide their money from people, what did they do? They lobbied and got it. When they wanted to hide their will from people for 99 years, what did they do? They lobbied and got it. And all the other things they lobby and get. That people could be like, oh, but that's political, but they lobby and they do it. So don't tell me that if they want money for children, they can't lobby parliament and get it. That is nonsense, and that's a lie. So I don't know. I'm sorry. I don't mean to be ranting, but it's like that kind of stuff annoys me. If they want something, they know how to get it. They just don't want to do it. That is the bottom line with those things. They don't want to do it. Let's see what else. Let me just go through the chat. Shirley says, Pedal, what do you say when they say the royals are billionaires, that they are adding property that are passed from one person to another isn't really theirs. And it's about how much cash do they have. King Charles briefcase. Let me go back again. You say there was a billionaires. Well, okay. So yeah, a lot of their stuff is, it's in land and it's in homes and stuff like that. But I personally don't know what's in their bank account. They're like liquid assets. I don't know. But they're rich. I don't care. I have no idea. According to them, the briefcase was money for charity, quote unquote charity, that, whatever. I don't know what's in their bank accounts, like, liquid assets. You can just jump in a bank and grab cash out of it. But it's more than any of us have. And we try to help people. So, yeah. I mean, I know a lot of their wealth it is in land, and it is in property and stuff like that. But they have more than enough that they could be giving a lot more than they give. They have more than enough that they don't have to be pocketing dead people's stuff. They have more than enough that they really have too much. And people should not be suffering as they have more than enough that they do not need the taxpayers to be paying them 86 million pounds a year, which is going to go up to over 100 million pounds in the next couple of years. They have more than enough that they don't need any of that stuff. And so, yeah, even though a lot of their wealth is, they have more than enough that nobody should be having to give them anything. So, let's move down and see. Louis Berry says, look at all the things that Harry and Meghan have accomplished since they left that salty island. Willie can't focus because he's not sincere about anything, but competing against his brother. Very, very, very true, Lois. I very, very, oh, it's so funny. My cousin's name is Lois. I was like, oh, yeah, I have a cousin named Lois. But yeah, very true. Even so funny, if you've read Endgame, Omid Scobie talks about that all their focus, that there are times when they should be focused on what they're doing, and a lot of time their focus is on, oh my gosh, Harry and Meghan are going to upstage us when they do whatever it is Harry and Meghan doing. Even their birthdays, Endgame talks about even their birthdays when they write these puff pieces, and they should be focused on William and Kate, and their puff pieces end up being all about how they can't stand Harry and Meghan, or especially Harry. And it's just, yeah, amazing. Donna says, having a black friend does not mean one is not racist, and being married to a non-black does not mean the person is not racist either. Very, very true. We have more than enough evidence for those. Absolutely. It's amazing that even today they still don't get it. They still don't seem to get. And again, unbelievable. Lois says, Harry's already won. Yes, he has. Yes, he has. Thank you. Let's see. What else do I have? Let me see. Do I have anything else? Let's see what else I have to talk about. We'll come back to the chat for a second. Oh, yes, I forgot I even had this here. I'm telling you, royal reporters, I swear, they are, and I don't even like to say mean girls, because again, why are you putting that on girls? But I feel like the royal rota, they're like, I don't know, they're like grade school. I don't even want to say middle school, because that's an insult to middle schoolers. But they behave like grade school bullies who just have, I mean, this is what Valentine Lowe tweeted yesterday. Congratulations, Omid, whose book Endgame sold 6,448 copies in the UK in the first week. That's almost as many as my book, Courtier, which sold 6,520 in the first week. And then Roya Nika, that's right, Laya Nika on the bottom. Courtier's was damn fine book. And they're all celebrating because apparently in the UK, at least that's what they said. I haven't looked up the figures in the UK. They're saying that according to Nielsen Bookscan, Endgame has sold 6,448. And of course, though, they're celebrating that his book, sold in that frame of time. They sold about 100 books more than Scobie's book. And well, first of all, huge picture here. There are, 50-something million people in the UK? I don't think this is anything to brag about. I don't think 6,520 book is much to brag about in the first place. So that's wide picture. But I think the other thing is, how petty and stupid and mean boy and grade school do you have to be to put? I mean, this is like a 50, 60-something-year-old man tweeting this nonsense. It's like, oh, well, my book sold 6,500 and yours only sold 6,400. And so they are like gloating over this. And it's just like, really? This is what This is what you do? It's just so stupid and petty. And it's just like, why would you want to even put your name on that? And then why would you be gloating about only selling 65? I mean, hello, big picture here. And of course, this is the book where he had all of these claims about Meghan being a bully. With the man wrote a whole book with no evidence in it, as we talked about before. And and you look at and he said that was a, and I'm assuming he may be talking about hardcover book. I don't know. I never even checked in what Nielsen book scanner is like. I have no idea. But according to Amazon, I was looking at Amazon in the US, and Amazon, they're labeling his book as a bestseller, and audio book, it's a bestseller. It's number 58 or overall. Overall it's number 58, which the majority of us would get the Audible anyway. And so according to Audible, it's number 58, but then it's number 1 in Great Britain books, number 1 in Great Britain history, and also in historical European biographies. So it's doing well. Also in Kindle, it's number 1 bestseller for biographies and royalty, and also for hardcover, it's also number 1 bestseller for social activist biographies. So in these categories, it's doing well. And so and you pull it up, you see number 1 bestseller. So it's doing well. And again, Endgame is, a lot of people, especially if you're in Shutter Island, it's Harry and Meghan. It's all, again, Endgame is not about Harry and Meghan. It's so funny. Yeah, that's my walking book. So I've been walking and just going back to all the chapters that I didn't, because if you know me, I don't read in order. And so I'm going back now to all the chapters that I didn't read. And again, the book is not about Harry and Meghan. Yes, there are certain parts where it refers to them because they were part of certain situation. And that's the real reason I decided, because if you know me, I was not going to read this book at all, because I'm like, I'm not reading another book about Harry and Meghan, because Prince Harry already wrote it and they already did Harry and Meghan docuseries. It's not a book about Harry and Meghan. And it's actually a really, really good book. And it's a lot better actually than Finding Freedom. And there are things about the monarch and the way how he wrote it. And it's so funny. He wrote about the bagpipe, the guy who played the bagpipes and always played the bagpipes for the Queen. And it's so funny because it reminded me of Harry talking about the bagpipes at Invictus Games and how much it meant to him and how emotional that was. And so hearing the story, and he went into all these history of the Queen Betty, and you know how I feel about Queen Betty, but even I, at that moment, I appreciated the history of the bagpipes, and talking about the man who played it, and his history and his background, and his wife dying, and what that, how much the Queen helped him, and even preserved his job because he had to take time off. And I mean, Omid went into all these details about these bagpipes, and I don't even like the bagpipes. I am not here for bagpipes. I actually have a friend who plays bagpipes. I'm not into it. And even I sat there and I was like, wow, this is really, really great. And if you're interested in research, and he put in a lot of history that I didn't really know. And I really appreciated that. And again, so when you hear the British press talk about this book, you know that none of them have read it. And if they've read it, they're being incredibly disingenuous about the book. Does it have stuff that are about the royal family that is not exactly pleasant? Yes. He laid it out. He laid out stuff that behind the scenes that he has seen and that he's experienced. Yes, he laid it out. Bluntly honest. And I think if anybody in that palace had the common sense God gave a goat, they would pick it up and read it. Because there are things in there, if they were to apply it, it can actually help them. Because this is coming from somebody who he knows he's going to burn bridges, which I'm sure it has already. He knows he's going to do it. But it's stuff that sometimes you need to hear the things that, that is outside of your bubble to help you to change, to get a different perspective. Because if they don't, they're going down. And again, the book isn't about, oh my gosh, let's just kick them to the curb. No, it's giving them an honest assessment of where they are and what they can apply so that they can stay, and be able to evolve as the years go by. And so again, I appreciate, has he gotten everything in this book right? No. There are some dates that are not quite driving up and stuff like that. No, he's not perfect. No book is. I can remember even when Spare came out, some things that were like, okay, he said this and then that, that weren't correct. And even Harry talked about memory and this is how I remember stuff. So no book is going to be 100% correct. They're going to have mistakes in there. They're going to have things that are not, dates that are not lined up. That's just how it is. You're reading biographies and stuff. But, again, for me, the book is a good book. And the way how it's written, I really, really appreciated it. And again, a lot of history and stuff. Again, it is not about Harry and Meghan. It's an honest, for Scobie, an honest opinion, his opinion from what he's seen and heard and people he's spoken to about the state of where the monarchy is, what he's seen, what needs to change, and that's what it is. And so I really appreciated that. So yeah. And again, if anybody in the palace, in one of the palaces, could just put aside the petty stupidity and read it, also read Spare, a lot in there, a lot of the things that they're doing now can change for the better. So yeah, but again, they're not going to do it. So anyways, moving on from them. Sylvia says, Petal, you're right about the childish UK media. It hurts me to even say childish because children act better than the UK press. Yeah, I'm like, why would you want to put your name to this nonsense? Why put it out there? We could think stupid things, but you don't have to put it out there like that because it just make you look stupid. Lottie says, I have read Endgame and I loved every single word. I love what he talked about the Queen. Yeah, and I don't even like Queen Betty. I don't. You know how I feel about Queen Betty. And I appreciated that. Again, I don't even like bagpipes. And I really appreciated him taking the time to really explain about it and how important, and explain about their history, their family, and all of that stuff. And I hope that bagpipe person read that book and to see how lovingly Scobie painted what he does and how important it is and what it meant to the Queen meant to him and what he meant to the Queen. And it was just like, I was listening to the thing. I was like, wow, this is actually really cool. And again, these are not two people and a person and thing that I care about. But even I was just like, wow, that's actually really nice. And he took the time to really get into it. And so it's a shame that, again, for these people in the press, it's literally like throwing pearls to pigs. Because they're real, apologies to the pigs, honestly. But it really is. It's sad that these are the people that, so, Mrs. S says, I guess Harry didn't want security too. That's why he's fighting in court. Make it make sense. I know, right? I know. And I think that's why Harry is doing this, because now it's it's a legal document. The names are there. All of these situations are there because so down the road, nobody can lie about him not wanting security because nothing is in writing with Diana. People can lie all they want and nobody knows the actual facts. And the people who are just going by those around her, those whether it's security guard or whatever in the UK that was around her, claiming that she didn't want security, but nobody has any written documents that says she did not want. Nobody has a signed document from Princess Diana that says no, I did not want security. So they can basically get away with saying anything, and we know how these people lie. And so yeah, that's why I'm glad that Harry is doing this. So now that it's in a court document, official court document, nobody can say, well, he didn't want it. Let's see. Vinny says, everyone in the British media has read Endgame. They just won't be discussing it in the media. They'll just see the end. They'll just see the something and be jealous. Yeah, they've all claimed to have read it. And well, not all. Some of them said they've read little pieces of it. They've just, and I'm assuming what a lot of it happened is they scanned for everything that says Harry and Meghan. And then just jump on those little excerpts, because a lot of the negative stuff has come from little excerpts without reading the whole context of what he's talking about. And a lot of those contexts, what he's talking about, has to do with the media. So they have also not spoken about all the things Scobie has had to say when he has called them out in every single way possible, because they don't want people to know that Scobie has called them out. So yeah. Lola Love says, I was surprised to learn that Brits take those tabloids seriously. Omid mentioned in the book how Americans mostly see the tabloids at checkout counters and don't view them as serious news. And that is the fact, Lola. Tabloids in the U.S., I don't know where you are, but tabloids in the U.S. are not taken, they're not mainstream news. It's just tabloids. You only see them when you pass like a newsstand. I don't know if you may not be in the U.S., so you only see them in the newsstand or at the at a checkout somewhere, like at a bookstore or a supermarket or something like that. They are not mainstream news. So unless you literally go and pick one of those stuff up, nobody would know that they're there. In the UK, tabloids are mainstream news. Actually, the Daily Mail and the Sun and those are the highest selling, whether it's news outlets in the UK. They are mainstream news. So that's what the people go. This is what the BBC will be quoting. The daily stuff from the Daily Mail, they'll be quoting stuff from the Sun, because the Daily, and again, they have more readership than say the BBCs and the ITVs of the world, and so people will go by them. Very different in the US. There's a clear line in the US what is mainstream news and what is tabloid. So when Meghan says we don't have the tabloid culture in the US, she is correct, because there's a clear line what's tabloid. And in the tabloids in the US, it's like Jennifer Aniston, I think it was Harry or somebody who said it. I don't remember. Someone who said it's like Jennifer Henderson has been pregnant with twins for like 20 years now. This was the kind of nonsense in the US tabloids. Nobody pays that stuff attention. Nobody gives that stuff attention. People read it for entertainment, but nobody takes it seriously because it's nonsense. So but very different in the UK. The tabloid is mainstream news, especially when it comes to the royals. So yeah. G Vega. Hello, G Vega. I've never seen you here before. Welcome. Says Obed book may have sold 6,448 books in the UK, but the real win for Scobie is ratings of the UK royals. The rattling, I should say, of the UK royals. The world sees them for who they really are. She's like handpicked, waving pink hands. Yeah, and I think because they're very tunnel vision and they only see things in the UK. It's like nothing and no one exists outside of the UK, and it's like people in the UK reading about you want them to read so that they will be aware of their own monarchy, but I don't think that's the market Scobie is aiming for, because that's like, so almost like singing to the choir, even though a lot of them still believe in the monarchy. It's more worldwide, more US audience, more European audience. There's a reason that most of Scobie's, interview and his first interviews, etc., was in the US. That's kind of where he is targeting. But of course, the Valentine Lows of the world, they are so tunnel vision. The only thing they can do is, well, in the UK, and it's just like, dude, you're a tiny market. You're not relevant right now. It's like you're in a country with like 56 billion. The US is like 300 and something million people. That's the market, so Europe is the market. And you notice that he gave the French outlet interview before he gave it to the UK, right? Europe. It's like, but again, they don't think that way. It's very funny. What else? Let's see. Scrolling down for a little bit more. Sylvia says, it's sad that the UK press headed by P. Morgan has started yelling the book Endgame is about Harry and Meghan. Well, of course. I mean, the whole goal with that whole thing is to sabotage the book. And if we can get people assuming that, I mean, again, the whole thing is to discredit Omid. Is the reason why they call it Harry and Meghan's mouthpiece, Harry and Meghan's biographer, Harry. I mean, the whole thing is to discredit him as a journalist. And if they can discredit him as a journalist, then they assume people would not want to read the book. People would not want to, read his articles when he is critical. The thing to discredit him, so when he is not a person that will sit there and cave to what and cape to the royal family. So if they can discredit his work, people wouldn't take him seriously when he speaks truthfully about the royal family, which is the whole goal. They want the narrative. They want to, they want themselves to be the ones that have the royal family narrative. And anyone coming against that, well, I mean, look at what Scobie is getting, death threats. So there you go. Yep. Shirley says UK is the size of California. Yes, it is. Yes, it is, actually. I mean, and you think about it, it's like, and for some reason, that's why when they talk about the US and you see like, okay, you have no idea about the geography of this country whatsoever. Because again, you have a country that's the size of one state in the US and not even the biggest one. It's just like, dude, So anyways, unbelievable. Let's see. Let's see what else I got. Do I have anything else to talk about? Oh, yes, I was talking about this earlier. Coco. Coco is one of the people most intriguing people of the at least so says People magazine, but we love our Coco. So I was like, oh, I love Coco. Says after turning heads at 15 with a first round win over Venus Williams at Wimbledon in 2019, the question was when, not if, Goff would earn her first Grand Slam trophy. This turns out to be the year, as the former number one junior dominated the 2023 U.S. Open, making her the youngest American champion since Serena Williams in 1999. But Goff is still in disbelief. She is carrying the sister's mantle. I don't think I'll ever get used to it. They're my idols, she told People earlier this year, adding, I am just the person who plays tennis. You go, Coco. I love that girl. Very, very cool. So hot. I mean, it's so funny. I think I watched that winning, like the winning set when she won the title, like about 50 million times. I was just so happy for Coco. So yeah, so she is good. Our wonderful, wonderful Coco. Looking forward to 2024 to see what she's gonna do. Hopefully for better things. And finally, Invictus Games posted this today. We talked about this last week when it happened. So Invictus Games, I guess they just came back from vacation. They posted this today. Says, thank you, POTUS, Joe Biden, and FLOTUS, Joe Biden, for hosting and acknowledging the amazing work the Invictus Team USA at the recent tree lighting ceremony at the White House. And of course, there's a picture of the president and Prince Harry and First Lady at one of the Invictus, because I think FLOTUS went in 2016, I think. And he was there in 2014, something like 2014 and 2016, something like that. I forgot the dates. He mentioned it during the speech at the tree lighting. So yeah, so FLOTUS and POTUS celebrated the Invictus team. And I'm actually, they had not been, because every team that won and does stuff for Olympics, they usually go to the White House, and I hadn't seen anything with the Invictus team. So it's actually good. They give them incredible honor. They did it so well at the Invictus Games. And of course, we are excited about it coming up in 2025 in Vancouver and Whistler. So I'm going to take the last couple before I run off and go walking. Let's see. Let's see. Carlene says it could be the same picture from last year. Another PR stunt. I mean, they were in different clothes. He could have just changed and had two pictures. Who knows? With the royal family, that's a possibility, because that whenever they whenever we see photos from them at like different times during the year, it's the same set of photos that I guess they do a lot of poses, and then they just use from the batch and then post it. So, people thinking it's new photos, but of course, our wonderful squatties with amazing eyes that could spot that stuff. Yeah, they could spot it. Always point out when you're like, wait a minute, that's not a new photo. That's from the same set. So yeah. Anyways, Lola says, she's talking to Donna, says, I guess Valentine Lowe hasn't yet read Endgame because Omid mentions him in by name several times in the book. Yeah, actually, I have actually come across one of the mentions so far when he was mentioning about Kate being the one with recollections may vary. I came across that, but again, yeah, they may have scanned, a lot of them have scanned it for Harry and Meghan mentions, but I don't know that they've actually read the book. Let's see. Sylvia, I think you're it. So it's like, but I think you're right about the U.S. not taking tabloids seriously. I stopped watching certain U.S. shows when they start to quote Daily Fail or other tabloids when speaking out about Harry and Meghan. Yeah, it's just, some of those entertainment shows especially, it's just like, no, you could all, and Sylvia, I'm sure you can, and if you're watching those things, you could always tell when it's something that they've got from like the Daily Mail or something. They have definitely the markings of those things. Very clear when they do. Joanne says, not to mention California has the fifth largest economy in the world. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Again, I laugh when reporters who obviously don't know anything about California, and they just assume that the U.S. and the UK, they operate the same, or that they're the same. Like, oh my gosh, if you're in California, that's all of the U.S. And it's just like, no, honey, that's just one state. Like what, 50 others? So it's just one, and your country fits into one, and not even the largest one. So very, very different. This when they're like, oh, Harry and Meghan's popularity are going down in America, and they've surveyed 200 or 2,000 people, and you're like, we're a country of like over 300 and something million. That's like not accurate estimation. So yeah, it's crazy. But Laverta said, Penny Jr. said they use pictures to suit their purpose, no matter when they're taken. Oh, okay. I see. Thank you, Laverta. Let's see. Kanisha says, when British people stop believing in the royal family, the royal family will be left alone. And it's getting there, because I think less and less people care, because they don't see it reflected in, it doesn't reflect their real reality, whether in terms of economics, whether in terms of the makeup of the royal family, who is a part of it doesn't reflect back to them. And especially the fact that they kicked Harry and Meghan out. So yeah, people looking at that, well, that doesn't reflect me. Nothing you do is anything I care about. Why should I care about what you do? So you see more and more people are like, nah, we're passing. And which is why Endgame is such an important read for them, because it speaks to someone who, yes, I mean, Omid is 40. He has a very younger mentality, and his audience is younger than he is. And that's the audience that they need in order to carry on. But they just don't have the common sense to read stuff that would help them. They just really listen to the people in their bubble. And they are where they are. So yeah. All for Sussex X says the US tabloids is about who's pregnant by Martians. They don't try to be real, which is absolutely true. I mean, alien babies. It's just, yeah, that's US tabloids for you. They do not, under any circumstance, pretend that they're real or truthful. There's a clear divide. Except that same story in a in the Daily Mail would be like, yes, that's facts in the UK. So yeah. Um Donna Black says, I was shocked to see a host on Talk TV defending the Sussex from a caller, but he really told her off. Wait, was that the elderly man who, and it sounded like an elderly lady, and he was telling, and she was like, they were stupid, and he's like, no, you're stupid. He literally told this lady, and it sounded like an elderly lady. She was like telling off Harry and Meghan, and he was like, no, you're that way. It was just like, ooh. It was just funny. Oh. Andrea says, Omi did a really good interview with O'Brien. Oh, that's right. I saw that. It was a podcast. Yes. He really, really did. I loved it. Yeah, I forgot the name of the podcast. I had never listened to it before. And so I listened to it on actually Apple. Let me see if I can find it so I can tell you the name. Hang on one second. I'm just like turning on my pad here. Podcast. It is called Full Disclosure. That's it's if you have Apple Podcasts, or I think it might be also on YouTube. I didn't check, but if you have Apple Podcasts, I think it probably is on Spotify as well. But it's called Full Disclosure by James O'Brien, and so was a really good interview. And James O'Brien is amazing. So he is also on LBC. So yeah, definitely listen to it, because they don't just talk about the book, they talk about his history working from Us magazine in the US, the difference between how you get news stories in the US as opposed to the UK. Like in the US, you can't pay people for stories. They don't pay people for stories in the US. They do in the UK. Hence that guy who said that the UK press offered him $70,000 to lie that he had an affair with Meghan. Yeah, in the US, they don't pay for stories. You have to figure out how to get your stories without paying for it. And so he talked a lot about the difference with how you collect news in the US and the US. So it's actually really good. So definitely, Donna said it was she got it on Spotify. So yeah, no, definitely go ahead and listen to it. It's really, really insightful. He talks also obviously about Endgame, but it wasn't just about that. A lot of it was other stuff. So it was really good. But anyway, I think that's it, guys. I think that's all I got. Thank you guys so much. Let me put this down. Wait, you know something? I missed something. Did I miss something that went by me that someone donated? Oh my gosh. I'm so sorry. I thought maybe I'm just imagining things. Mrs. S, you're 12 months. Thank you so much. Thank you. So always breaking things down. Oh, I try. I try, Mrs. S. Thank you. Oh, Black Queen, thank you for your super sticker. I knew I missed something. Thank you so much for your super sticker. I appreciate it. And wait, I missed something else. Yeah. Thank you. 10 months. Oh my goodness. Then thank you so much, Black Queen. Thank you. She says, oh, for your invaluable humanity is appreciated. Oh, thank you so much, guys. I appreciate it. I appreciate you hanging out with me today. Thank you all so very, 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 very much. And hang on, let's see. Yep. Let's get that out of there. And yep, thank you to our awesome moderators, Lydia, Trish, Nelly, Karen M, Cookies and Cream, Black Queen. You are awesome. Thank you. Thank you so much to our awesome 2 Cents crew who support the channel on a monthly basis. Huge thanks to all of you who also support in the chat, like you just saw. I appreciate you so much, and those of you who support via PayPal and Cash App. Thank you. Have a fantastic day, guys. I love you all. Please subscribe if you haven't, and I will chat with you later. Bye.